love to know more about sort of how you got your start in fashion.
Oh, that. Well, yes. I had gone to FIT in New York, and then I came to Los Angeles, and I started the flea market, which was really great. A year and a half of really seeing women coming in week after week and like what worked for them and trying to like find the silhouettes that worked universally. Yeah. So like that's the violet dress, named after my sister and my mom. They both have the same name, and just finding the shapes that were flattering in a size 2 and also in a size 10. That's really kind of what I try to do.
Were you making all the items by hand yourself?
I had started off with literally a rack and 10 pieces, and that's kind of how I started. And after a year and a half, I thought, okay, I could do a little more small production, so I'm not making, because I was doing a lot of custom, literally just finding 2 yards of fabric downtown LA, making a dress, custom for people. But it was a great laboratory for me to see, like, wow, oh my gosh, what you have a size 2, you have a size 10, what are we going to do to make both people look great in the same dress? So I learned a lot of things from that.
So what was your first like fashion memory? Like how did you, like when did you know that this was like what you wanted to do and what you were truly passionate about?
I think coming to America as an immigrant and trying to fit in high school with like not having the right clothes, that was a big thing. Like understanding like, wow, if I wear this outfit then people are not going to make fun of me. So that was really an important lesson at a very early age about that, because I'm Hungarian but came to America when I was 10, and there was quite a jar from going from a communist school system with like uniforms and having then to be like expressive in an environment that I didn't really understand. I mean, in America, you don't wear the same pants in 3 days in a row. Well, you don't only find that out when you actually wear the same pants for 3 days in a row. So this is my studio. This is kind of where I do my creative thinking with my amazing staff. And I could show you, Susan, some of like, I don't know. Well, for example, this is a photo print.
I love this.
This is swans kind of swimming in this night celestial sky, and I love, you know, whether it's photography or texture, like it has to have something special and unique to it.
There's such an amazing element of fantasy here, and I feel like that's something, like that's
it's romantic.
For me, that's such a draw of vintage pieces. It's like thinking of the fantasy and like the person that once wore it and sort of what their life was like and what they were doing in those pieces. I feel like although this isn't vintage, right? Like we're creating it now, it still has that feel.
Yeah, I think there's something about the swans that remind me of fairy tales and you know, when you actually believed in them. And it's like, why not bring them back?
Totally.
But here's kind of an example of, you know, trying different colors, and I thought, well, we're going to design a fabric with a print on it, but then I wanted to do more of a texture, so this is actually a jersey with embroideries on it. And it's just kind of, because I felt like that was a little too flat.
And you design almost all of your own fabrications and prints, right?
When you are a small designer and you're, you know, making things locally, like in Los Angeles, our production is not huge in that regard. So I love supporting locally made things. My fabrics come from all over the world, and I work with some of the best mills, and you know, it's really a whole process, and it unfortunately does get a little bit more expensive than your, you know, run-of-the-mill mass-produced things. But
but it's so amazing. I mean, that's part of why we really, really love working and carrying your pieces. Love working with you and carrying your pieces, because I mean, you just can't go to the mall and find this.
Exactly, which is what I want to do personally as a designer, is that people have conversations like, oh my God, that's such a great, you know, and so as an artist, I want to create textures and reasons for people to be like, wait, that's a swan. What do you know, I got to talk to you, I'm a swan. And babies have been made because of my fabrics, which
I believe it.
Little baby duckies I've heard that inspired conversations at parties, and I was like, that's kind of what I want to do.
And it's also like, I feel like vintage is timeless in a way. Like you're not buying a vintage piece to like follow a trend. And I also feel like when you buy one of your dresses, when you wear one of your dresses, it's like, this isn't going to be out of season next year or the year after or 5 years from now. You know, it's like if it looks good on your body and it fits well and you love it, it makes you feel good, wear it forever.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm definitely more into.
I love that. You know, so tell me about this.
This is well, I bought this at a flea market, and I think, you know, sometimes I just hang things up, and it'll literally take years for them to become, you know, something else.
Yeah.
I think I love when you could see the stitching. So this might become like an embroidery, it might become a print. For right now, it's just incubating.
Yeah.
But laser cuts, I've done a lot of laser cuts and embroideries. So I really try to use so many different parts of what is possible in Los Angeles to produce, you know?
Yeah.
Whether it's like this piece, I'm gonna probably be doing a print inspired from this hand-dyed, I got this in Japan, and it has such a great, I love the little polka dots, and you know, so I'm thinking about like recoloring it, and
it's beautiful.
Doing a layout on it, but yeah. Here's some examples of things that actually we do here in the studio, which is like recolor lace in different colors to find the one that we like.
Yeah, sometimes you actually have to see it, right? It's hard to just look at a swatch, and you know, when a color is this big, it's hard to imagine what's actually going to be like on the print.
And I think it's fun to find your own color, you know, versus just whatever the fabric companies give you, you know, to really explore this. So
you do all of that here in your studio?
Yes, it's another creative process, and this is another one that we did, just trying different combinations.
So pretty.
I work with textile designers as well, but you know, there's just so many different, like with fabrics, there's just a plethora of ways to come up creative. This is a screen print that's put on lace. And
I like how you're kind of testing the bronze versus
the
gold.
Yes,
I love
exactly.
This just feels so like 1950s holiday, like just such a special combination. The bronze and the navy.
I love navy.
So pretty. So I see all your trims.
Oh yes, this is a great wall of trims. Everything's sort of categorized by colors, and so we'll use a trim that's white, you know, and we have buttons, and everything's kind of just color coded. And there's tapes, and there's, you know, embroideries, all kinds of stuff. Try to like create the chaos, control the chaos, because it can get out of hand. It is fun, and that's Frank up there. He's our mascot.
It's very cool.
eBay shopping with the 1-200 drinks, I think.